Hello again and welcome. If this happens to be your first time listening, thank you for stopping by. You have found Choose to Endure, the show dedicated to the back of the pack runners, where we share stories, interviews, gear, and training tips specific to the tail end heroes of the ultra universe. My name is Richard Gleave. I've been running ultras since 2017. I have taken on and finished numerous ultra distances all the way up through 220 miles, and I am unashamedly a member of the back of the pack, just like many of you. Today's topic is one that gets to the heart, I think, of what makes ultra running such a special sport, and that is pacing. Specifically, we're talking about the art of pacing in ultras and how you can be somebody's hero by pacing them to their goal. Pacing isn't just about running alongside someone. It's really more about supporting them physically, mentally, and emotionally when they need it most. In this episode, I'll share some of the key responsibilities I think a pacer has, some tips for being the best pacer you can be, and a few stories, I think, from my own experience that highlights just how transformative pacing can be both for the runner and the pacer. And if you've ever thought about pacing someone, I hope this episode will inspire you to go and give it a try. Pacing really is one of the most rewarding experiences in ultra running, right up there with volunteering. And there are plenty of opportunities to help runners at local races or support a friend chasing their big ultra goal. So, without further ado, let's get right into it.
Discover raw, inspiring stories from runners who've been right where you are. This is the Choose to Endure Ultra Running Podcast with your host. He's English, not Australian. Richard Gleave.
Okay, let's start with the basics. What does it mean to pace somebody in an ultra? Well, a pacer is more than just a running buddy. Your job as a pacer is to help the runner stay on track. And by that, I mean physically, yes, but also mentally and emotionally, usually during the hardest parts of their race. Whether it's keeping them on pace, making sure they make the cutoffs, making sure they're eating and hydrating, or simply being a positive presence and providing them some distraction, pacers play a vital role in helping runners achieve their goals. From a physical support perspective, you definitely are looking to help your runner maintain a steady pace, navigate tricky terrain, navigate full stop, i.e. stay on the course, and stick to their plan, whatever their plan is. And you may well, as their pacer, have helped them build their plan in advance and know it intimately. That way, when their mind goes to mush, you still have your wits about you and you can keep them to the plan that they want to stay on. Talking of minds going to mush, mental support is also key from a pacer. You need to keep your runner motivated, distracted from discomfort, and just keep them focused on the finishing line, whatever that is. And that might be the next aid station or the next bend or the next tree or the actual finish line. From an emotional support standpoint, you're going to be reassuring your runner when doubts creep in, and you're going to want to remind them why they're out there. What is their why? Why are they doing this? What are they getting from it? Everybody's mental state goes kind of rough at some point. One of my first pacing experiences was during my friend's 100-miler. By the time I joined her at mile 75, she was pretty exhausted. She had complete doubt about herself and her ability to finish, and she was ready to quit. My role at that point wasn't just to run with her. I really needed to be her cheerleader and, importantly, her accountability partner. And honestly, a bit of a therapist for those final miles. We crossed the finish line together. Well, actually, she crossed and I stood off to the side, but you know what I mean. And it's one of those things where it was just necessary. I don't know that she would have figured it out and got to the finish without somebody alongside her. So to me, that moment really showed me the power of pacing, going from where she was at mile 75 to getting across that finishing line. Not sure we would have got there otherwise. It wasn't just me. I think it could have been anyone, but the power of a pacer with that individual at that point doing the right things was really big. So talking of doing the right things, being a pacer is an honor, but it's also a pretty big responsibility. So here are a few of the key things that I think you need to do to be someone's hero. Firstly, know the runner's goals, whether it's finishing under a certain time or simply making it to the finish line in some cases. Understanding their goals in advance and talking them through will help you support them effectively while you're out on the course as their mental state deteriorates. Also, stick to the plan, right? Your runner is likely going to have a pacing, nutrition, and hydration plan, and it's your job to help them stick to it, especially when they're too tired or too cranky to think clearly. Talking about cranky, stay positive. Your energy is going to set the tone. Be upbeat, be encouraging, be calm, even when the runner is struggling and potentially yelling at you. Watch out for those warning signs. Keep an eye out for signs of dehydration, injury, or mental fatigue. Sometimes a pacer needs to make tough calls to keep the runner safe. Safety above everything. During a pacing stint at a 100K, I noticed my runner skipping aid station snacks because he, quote unquote, didn't feel hungry. And I gently reminded him of the fueling plan that we had discussed and made sure that he ate something at the next stop. And a few miles later, he told me he was feeling much better. And, he was grateful that we had kept on track from his eating perspective. But again, that's a really simple thing, but having somebody there to hold you accountable and remind you what you agreed to do for yourself to get you to the finish, I think is a real benefit. Okay, so some tips for pacing with confidence and empathy. Being a great pacer isn't just about knowing what to do. It's really about how you do it. It's like having kids. Here are some tips to make your pacing experience successful and rewarding. Firstly, make sure you communicate clearly. Talk to your runner before the race about their needs and about their expectations. Do they want you to be a chatty Cathy, or would they prefer that you stay quiet and run beside them? Some runners would prefer you run in front of them. Some runners would prefer you to be behind them. Should you push them, or should you take it easy? What are their goals? These are the things you need to talk about before you get on the course, ideally. That way, you know what to do when you're there. Be adaptable, right? So things rarely go according to plan in any ultra, and that applies to pacers just as much as it does to runners. Be ready to adjust your approach based on how your runner is feeling in that moment. And celebrate the small wins too, and remind your runner of their progress. You made it to 80 miles, or one big climb to go, or one aid station away from the finish. These sorts of things can really work wonders for morale. And here's a really interesting one too. You need, as a pacer, to remember, and I think sometimes, I know I've been guilty of this one, take care of yourself too. You can't help your runner if you're struggling as well. Make sure you, as the pacer, eat, hydrate, pace yourself, and you have the right gear, and sometimes the required gear, so that you can stay strong and stay in the race for them. Most races will have some kind of required gear for the runner, but they'll also have required gear for the pacer. You don't want to be the reason your runner gets pulled from the race or DQ'd. So definitely make sure, as you're taking care of yourself, that you also look at the required gear and make sure you have your required gear on you as well. During a 100-mile race one time, I paced a runner for a short while who hit a mental low at mile 90 of 100. She was convinced she couldn't finish. It was a case of reminding her of how far she'd come, and we broke the remaining miles into smaller, manageable goals of 1 mile at a time. Make it to the next mile, walk, run, crawl, whatever it is, 1 mile at a time. Every time we finished a mile, we stopped and we had a little party. Ultimately, she found her strength and crossed that finish line, breaking it up into those smaller chunks, doing whatever you need to do to get your runner across the line. Pacing, though, isn't just about helping someone else. It's also a deeply rewarding experience for you as the pacer. Pacing teaches you the value of perseverance and teamwork. Seeing your runner push through their lowest moments can be really inspiring to you in your own running journey. Pacing also creates a unique bond between you and your runner. I promise you it will. If you haven't paced anyone yet, go out and try it and you'll see what I mean. Sharing the highs and lows of an ultra really builds a sense of camaraderie that lasts long, long after the race is over. When you've given up your time and your effort and your focus to go help somebody else with their goals, it's really rewarding. Supporting someone else reminds you that ultras are about more than just individual achievements. They're about a wider community of ultra runners. They're about shared experiences, and they're about celebrating the journey. If you've been paced or you've paced someone before, I would love to hear your story. Share it on Instagram or Facebook and tag Choose to Endure. You might even get featured in a future episode for sure. I will tell you that after pacing a friend of mine at a 50-miler, it really inspired me to tackle my own races during a time where I was feeling kind of down and a bit lacking in motivation. Watching her dig deep and overcome challenges reminded me of why we do this crazy thing and why it's worth it. So to recap, as ever, here are 4 key takeaways about pacing in ultras. Number 1, pacing is about physical, mental, and emotional support. It's a chance to help someone else achieve their goals. Number 2, great pacers understand the runner's goals, help create the plan, help stick to the plan, they stay positive, and they watch out for warning signs of any deviation from the runner. Number 3, pacing with confidence and empathy means communicating clearly, adapting to the runner's needs, celebrate those small wins, and for goodness sake, make sure as the pacer you take care of yourself as well. Number 4, pacing is a powerful reminder of the grit, connection, and the community that makes ultra running so special. Absolutely love pacing. If you've never done it, highly suggest you go find someone or somewhere to pace. There are even races where you can show up unattached and jump in to anybody that needs pacing. I think it's just a brilliant thing to do. While you're out looking for some races like that and browsing the internet, don't forget to subscribe to the show here, and that way you can get notified each time a new episode drops. And if you're enjoying what you hear, definitely feel free to follow, share, and leave a review. That really would mean the world to me. Your support helps grow the podcast, connects more runners to this amazing ultra community we're all a part of, and spreads the word to those who could benefit from the information like pacing that we share right here on the podcast. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Choose to Endure, or visit us anytime at choosetoendure.com. I would love to hear from you, whether that's to say hello, to suggest a topic, or even to share your story. That way we can get it featured on the website, or we can get you as a guest onto the show here, and we can have a chat. You can email me directly at info@choosetoendure.com. I promise you, interacting with listeners just like you is one of my favorite parts of doing this show. So until next time, run long, run strong, go find someone to pace, and keep choosing to endure.